What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react to Americans who have no idea how the world works. So today, I want to take a look at some examples of a big problem that a lot of us Americans have, and that is many Americans think that the entire world is exactly like the United States, or that the entire world should be just like the United States, and that we are the greatest, and that the United States is the only country that matters. And this is obviously a very stupid, close minded, ignorant thing to think. But unfortunately, to be honest, there are a lot of Americans who really do think like this. So today, I want to take a look at some examples of this from the internet and see just how bad these are. So let's take a look at some of these, starting with this is a comment on a YouTube video where an American said, "How come no one is talking about the steering wheel being on the wrong side of the car?" Oh my God, this is like the perfect example right here. This is perfect. Just the way this American phrases this question, it tells you everything. The wrong side of the car. Why do you guys put your steering wheel on the wrong side of the car? There is no wrong side of the car. That is a terrible way to think about it. That this American thinks, oh, you guys don't put it on the left side of the car. That's weird. That's wrong. It's like a lot of Americans think if other countries do things differently, it's wrong, which is just a terrible worldview to have, a terrible philosophy. And I'm actually kind of surprised about this because I would think by now a lot of Americans know that in other parts of the world, people drive on, the other side of the road, and the steering wheel can be on the other side of the car, and there's no correct or wrong, or it's just different. Different countries do it differently, but this American thinks it's wrong if you don't do it the American way, which is that's so bad. Like, somebody responded and said, it's not weird. In some parts of the world, the cars are actually like this. And then the American responded to that, saying, what? I didn't know that. In which states does this happen? No! No. No. Okay. So this really is just a very ignorant American. Maybe this like a young kid. I hope so. I hope this is not an adult, because this is embarrassing enough to not know that the cars are different in other parts of the world. So somebody corrected the American on this, and the American responded by saying, oh, okay, that's interesting. In what state is it different? In what state is it? Do you do this? What state? This American can't even imagine that we're talking about a different country. That just shows you how incredibly sheltered and sort of closed-minded a lot of Americans have. Like, that is embarrassing. We're talking about other countries, other parts of the world. And this American is like, oh, so what state are you talking about? What United State are you talking? No, we're not talking about America. What? Oh my goodness. And then they responded saying, I didn't mean in the United States. I said parts of the world. the cars are different in other parts of the world. It's so bad that this even has to be explained. Um, that's really bad. Oh my God. Let's keep going. I'm a little scared to see what else is here. This looks like Instagram. This is the BBC News Instagram. So the British Broadcasting Corporation, I guess. And an American commented on their Instagram post saying, "The worst thing you could do is not talk about the domestic drug problems in Los Angeles and San Francisco. Why don't you talk about this? Why do you need to talk about other countries' problems?" What? Oh my, what? Does this American know that they're on like the BBC Instagram, like another country? And somebody commented under them saying, "It's the BBC, you donuts." Yeah, no kid. What? There's so many things wrong here. Like so many things. For one thing, this American is commenting under a British post, and they're getting mad that they're not talking about American news. So this American can't even imagine that in other countries, you guys talk about your own news, your own problems. This American is angry that everybody doesn't cover American news and in LA and San Francisco um and the other horrible thing is this really shows me, and I already know this is true, how little Americans care about news and events in the rest of the world. Americans are just not interested in what's going on in other countries. Like, really, really important stuff. There's a lot of really important stuff happening around the world in countries all over the world every day. And Americans don't want to hear it. Like, this is a perfect example of that. This person's angry that they're talking about other countries' problems as if that doesn't affect us, as if that's not important. This this one is worse than the first post about the steering wheel on the wrong side of the car. That was stupid. This is just like egregiously bad. This is like damaging. Like to this is this is gonna lead to the downfall of the United States. Thinking like this. So close-minded. What? And angry for what? Oh my God. Let's keep going though. This looks like a Reddit post where somebody said, "The rest of the world uses normal measurements." Are we talking about most of the world uses like metric measurements and stuff, which honestly makes sense to me. And then an American responded saying, "Given that American culture is the global default?" Oh, no, no, no. This is why a lot of people around the world don't like Americans. This. It's not just that a lot of Americans are ignorant, it's just the cockiness, the self-centeredness. This American says American culture is the global default. It's weird when countries don't use normal American measurements. So bad. This American thinks that, and I know this is true because I know a lot of Americans have this attitude. When you grow up in the United States, you feel very, very closed off. You know, I think in Europe, uh, for example, a lot of European countries, you guys are surrounded by a lot of different cultures and languages and different countries. Europe is a very diverse place. But in America, if you grow up in America in some random states, maybe like what are we by? Like Canada? Canada is different, but in a lot of ways pretty similar. Or Mexico. But that's it. Other than that, a lot of Americans have no exposure to other cultures or customs, and a lot of Americans really do grow up thinking that America is just the way of life for everybody in the world. That's the only, we're in a bubble. It's the only thing we know. Whereas I think in Europe, you guys are exposed to other European countries. You can travel to other countries and cultures and languages, and you get that exposure. But in America, it's really damaging. You can see. It makes a lot of Americans think that we are the only country in the world? I don't. It's so strange because, especially in this day and age where you can just go on the internet and learn about other countries and news very quickly and easily, there's really no excuse for having such a terrible attitude. But then somebody responded and said, American measurements are not normal. Americans just think that it is. And this American said, LOL. So this American thinks that our way of measuring things is the normal default way. And which is extra funny because most of the world uses metric, right? America is actually the strange country. I didn't know this. I'm going to be honest. For a long time, as an American, like I remember as a kid, I had no idea about the metric system and like liters and Celsius, and I didn't know that America was strange for using like miles and inches and stuff like that. I didn't know that. I'm guilty of that. But when I did learn about the metric system, I immediately understood that it's way better. It makes way more sense. And even here in America, we use the metric system in science class. Whenever you go to chemistry or science classes, you have to learn the metric system, and it's way better. So I don't know why any American would be like proud of American measurements. They're not even like good. So that is just so dumb for so many reasons. Oh my goodness. These are really bad. Wow. It's almost impressive if it wasn't so disturbing. Okay, this is a post that says, if you have no savings, why would you get pregnant? Oh, wow. The bill for giving birth is going to put you into serious debt. Not to mention not being able to work for a few months. This is a very American thing to say. And I understand, as an American, I understand this because this is true in the United States. Having a child is a really, really big financial decision. And I'm talking about the medical bills. Me and my wife had a child, and if you know anything about the American healthcare system, you have to have healthcare insurance. Otherwise, the bill for giving birth was like $50,000. But after insurance, it was only like 4,000, which is still really bad. That's for most Americans having to pay $4,000. That's very hard. But it's better than 50,000. If you don't have insurance, it'd be like 50. It's crazy. So having a baby was a really big decision. It's like, okay, can you afford thousands of dollars to give birth and go into debt? And in America, you only get so much time off of work to take care of your newborn baby. And it's just, Americans are just used to that. That's how we think about it. But somebody responded saying, "Hi, friend. I'm one of the dozens of people worldwide that live in a country that is not the United States. There is no bill for going to the hospital. I That's amazing. It's free. I have a year of maternity leave. A year of maternity leave. Most women in America can get like two months off, 3 months off work. That's considered pretty good. This person got a year off. I'm still getting paid. Don't be so hostile. I just got pregnant. Yeah. So this American was actually getting mad at somebody for not thinking about the financial repercussions of getting pregnant and how expensive it is to give birth. But that's an American problem. That's an American way of thinking. And it is true. Like, to be honest, in America, if you're going to get pregnant, you have to think about, can you afford the hospital bill? But that is not normal. A lot of Americans think that that is normal. That is, as you can see right here from someone who responded, I don't know where they're from, but I know in a lot of European countries, you guys have like universal healthcare coverage. You guys, basically, your healthcare is paid for through your taxes, right? Your taxes cover the healthcare, and then you just go into the hospital and get the care when you need it, and you don't have to pay any extra. I would love that. Oh my God, that sounds amazing. I would love to know that's where my taxpayer money is going. Because in America, it's like, we don't even know what our taxes are for. Like the military, like sometimes they redo the roads or something. Like, but if I knew my taxpayer money was going towards healthcare, oh, oh my God, so many Americans would be so happy. Instead, like, for example, giving birth is like a really stressful financial burden. It's really sad. And a lot of Americans don't understand that is not normal. That's an American thing. That's not a normal way of like thinking about it for most people around the world. So yeah, I think that's a good place to stop. This was really interesting. It's obviously very like sort of depressing and embarrassing seeing how incredibly ignorant a lot of my fellow Americans are. But, looking at it and acknowledging it and talking about it, I think is good, and setting the record straight. And not all Americans are this stupid, but unfortunately, it is true. A lot of Americans just don't know how the rest of the world works. And that's sad. But this was actually, traumatizing, but kind of enjoyable and funny at the same time. So anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on these examples of Americans just having no idea like how the rest of the world works. And if you're interested in more videos like this, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.